This is Sherry DeValley with Readout News, and we're here speaking with Larry Klayman. Mr. Klayman, thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure and my honor. Thank you.
You have a unique perspective on the Bundy case, and we would like to get some of your insights on this. You tried at the several months ago to become a part of this team, and Judge Navarro wouldn't allow that. Would you like to talk about that at all?
Well, I would. I mean, look, we know who Judge Navarro is. Okay, she's recommended by Harry Reid for the federal bench. She's appointed to that bench by Barack Obama, confirmed by a Democratic Senate. And Judge Navarro was no friend of the Bundys. And, in fact, she was no friend of mine as a result. And what she did yesterday in dismissing the case, basically she had to do. She didn't want to go down with a sinking ship. The Las Vegas Review-Journal had said, quote, the prosecutors have a friend in Judge Gloria Navarro. This is in prior trials where she violated the constitutional rights of nearly every defendant. In fact, I think all of the defendants. So the bottom line is this, is that at the time this case was dismissed yesterday with prejudice, I was still fighting legally to get into the case. And I had a motion for what you call pro hac vice status pending. And my local counsel here, Mr. Whipple, would have submitted that. We just held it back to see what was going to happen, so it's now, as lawyers say, moot. But yes, this was another outrage. She denied Klayman's speedy trial rights and the other defendants. She threw Klayman in solitary confinement at the first part of this case. She allowed evidence to come in at the last minute with regard to Dan Love, the BLM leader who committed so many crimes along this way. I mean, Judge Navarro basically was saving her own skin yesterday. It was kind of like rats fleeing a sinking ship.
Do you think that her career is salvageable?
Well, regrettably, yes. In the sense that federal judges they consider themselves to be untouchable, and they literally have to be caught red-handed taking a bribe to be removed these days. You know, in the old days, you had what was called, you could only continue for good behavior as a judge. You could be removed for bad behavior. Well, that doesn't apply anymore, regrettably. But I hope she's learned her lesson, and let's give her the benefit of the doubt going forward. Maybe this was a hard lesson to be learned. Don't tie yourself to Harry Reid and Barack Obama.
What about First Assistant U.S. Attorney Stephen Myrie? Can you weigh in on his current position?
I'm giving my personal views here, okay? Stephen Myrie should be prosecuted. He should be a defendant in a case. He should lose his legal license. He lied to the judge. Even Judge Navarro said, I had been lied to by the prosecution. So excuse me, it's raining on me right now.
Oh,
I'm going to move a little bit.
Yeah, I think they've had a little bit of leak problem.
Yeah, we have some rain out here. It's a good sign. But yes, I mean, these prosecutors committed misconduct.
Oh, it's getting you. Let me move over here out of the way. Here, try this seat. I wasn't getting it. I can sit just like this. There we go.
Stephen Myrie and Dan Sheese, his number two. Myrie was acting U.S. attorney, and the other prosecutor of the AUSA, her name is Ahmad, I believe it is. These people really, I mean, to play with people's lives like this, life imprisonment was what they were asking for, to play games, to lie to the court, to suppress evidence. We know that the whistleblower, Larry Klayman, who came forward, was recommended to be fired by Myrie, according to him. I have pending, on behalf of Klayman, ethics complaints at the Justice Department with the Office of Professional Responsibility, the Inspector General. I trust, and I will be very insistent to have Attorney General Jeff Sessions make sure that that happens, but these people should no longer be lawyers, and they should no longer be with the Department of Justice. And as people know, I'm a once proud alumnus of the Department of Justice, but the Department of Justice has turned into a cesspool. It's a disgrace, and it needs to be cleaned up.
How does this ruling yesterday and this dismissal affect the other defendants? We've got defendants that have taken plea agreements. We've got defendants that were convicted and are currently incarcerated. What do you think is going to happen with them?
What should happen with them, and I'm confident that it will happen with them, is that anyone who was convicted before now should have those convictions set aside. those who, under false pretenses, agreed to plea agreements with my Ray and his other corrupt prosecutors. Those plea agreements should be vacated, and people should go free. And I feel really bad for some of the people that pled out, like Eric Parker and Pete Santilli, and others. I have cases pending now for malicious prosecution for Rick Lavellian and Stephen Stewart. And my own view, people should push back. Just don't take it, and don't turn the other cheek here. Jesus would not have turned the other cheek. He was no pushover. He certainly didn't turn it to the Romans, did he?
Very good point. Very good point. I'm sorry, I've got a whole list of questions. I could keep going on this. I know you're a very busy man, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. But do you think that the February 26th trial will be canceled? Is it already been canceled? I haven't heard that.
It has been canceled with regard to Klayman and his sons, and of course the other defendant in the case. But in terms of Mel and Dave, that will need to be canceled into the future because no motions were pending, is my understanding in this regard. But it shouldn't be a problem canceling that. I'm sure that Judge Navarro will do that.
Now, she didn't allow anybody to join on to the motions yesterday as far as the other defendants went. And forgive me, I'm still learning some of the legal process on this. Does that mean they all individually have to file motions, or can they do one more motion for all of the rest of them, or how does something like that work?
Well, it depends on the case. I mean, the third case that was set to be tried, all the defendants could group together and do one motion, or they could do it individually. Now, with regard to the cases that were previously tried, that would also be the case. They could group together, or they could do it individually. I would recommend that they do both, but they do need to come forward right now, these people, because look at Pete Santilli. He's now subject to sentencing, a convicted felon. That totally is wrong. That's unfair. That's unjust. Eric Parker pled out to a misdemeanor, but that shouldn't be on his record. Others like Burleson, although he bragged and got himself into trouble doing that, that should be vacated as well, because all of this evidence had been suppressed, and obviously there was a conspiracy to harm all of the defendants, all 19 of them, and there's no way that this should be allowed to stand. So I hope that this judge, and I know I used some strong words a while back, I hope that she's learned her lesson and corrects the mess that she made.
Do you think all of the defendants have grounds that will be accepted for a civil rights lawsuit, or just the current four?
No, I do. They all have grounds. Yes, they all have grounds.
Even the ones that pled out, etc.?
Even the ones that pled out. Yes, they did. I mean, we know from the whistleblower, and we haven't had a chance to put him on the stand. Brian Payne had filed a pleading. I helped him with it when he did say, "Look, we'd like this whistleblower to come in and testify, Your Honor, talking to Judge Navarro before you even rule on whether to dismiss with prejudice." And I think that boxed her in to some extent, because you bring the whistleblower forward, and there would be no doubt where this case is going, down the drain, which it did. And according to that whistleblower, they had kill lists of people. They had people with X's on their heads as targets. Mormons were being disparaged as retards and things like that. It's a fine religion, and Mormon people are fine people. There's no excuse for that. And Myray himself was covering up evidence. We don't know what else was covered up. I have a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit pending in D.C. We got a judge like Navarro who just rubber stamps what the government wants. I'm still fighting that. But if you can believe this, the FBI and Bureau of Land Management said it would take them 41 years to produce the documents which they already have. And I told the judge, I said, look, we'll all be dead by then. Even this young Justice Department lawyer that's trying to defend BLM and the FBI, she'll be dead too. But yes, there are judges out there like Navarro, she's not the only one, that are highly politicized, highly corrupt, and they will do what their benefactors want them to do. In this case, it's Harry Reid, and this judge in D.C., she's a Clinton appointee, so she has a special love for me.
One of the issues that keeps getting brought up is the fact that attorneys, when they're in law school, are never required to read the Constitution. Is that what you have found? Is that true?
Well, yes. I mean, you can get out from under that. I was one of the few students at Emory Law School that actually read it, and I've read the cases too. But that is true. You can read what abbreviated cliff notes, in effect, and it'll tell you what's in the Constitution, but you should read the Constitution, and it's very important.
It'll give them case law and opinion on the Constitution.
That's
in
correct.
Other words.
And one of the great things about the Mormon religion is the Mormon religion. I learned a lot from Klayman over the last 2 years. I've known him for 4 years, but I visited him in prison at least 25 times, and we spent time together, and we bonded, and we got to know each other, and we prayed. But the Mormon religion believes that the Constitution is incorporated into the Book of Mormon. It's there. Okay, it believes that the United States, even though Mormons are one of the tribes of Israel, is the promised land, even before Israel. Israel's second. They're both important. But the Constitution is sacrosanct, and that's why when you walked into court yesterday, what I thought was most remarkable was looking at the Bundy family, how calm they were, and how confident they were. And they weren't nervous. I was more nervous than they were, because they had faith in Jesus and the Heavenly Father, and they have faith in the Constitution that it will prevail. And they weren't nervous at all.
Well, they have certainly come through in ways that not too many people could. They are still smiling. I saw Carol today, and she's just a joy to be with. And Klayman, he's smiling, and I don't know how he does it after 700 days in prison.
Well, that's what hit me, too, is that Klayman came out yesterday when they released him in the lobby of the federal courthouse here in Las Vegas, and it was like nothing had happened, like he hadn't been imprisoned for the last 2 years, and he came out there fighting and saying, look, we're going to push back, and we've got to, in the appropriate legal way, and we're going to win. We've got a job to do here. We have to get the land declared Nevada land, and we have to seek justice here. And this is a great, great family that I've come to know. I consider myself to be an honorary part of it.
Well, you have certainly been a great help to them, and you have not stopped that battle, have you? You've continued that.
And I won't. No, there are many things that we have planned, believe me, and we're discussing it now, what's going to happen. But I think anybody that knows me knows Klayman. You can pretty much figure it out.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time with us, and we hope to catch up with you again soon so you can let us in on some of those plans.
Yeah, thank you, too. And if, we keep people updated, go to KlaymanBundyDefenseFund.org, because we put everything up there that's going on. There's a lot that's still going on.
And we will certainly do that. Thank you again, Mr.
Thank you.
Klayman. And this is ReadoutNews.com.
Questions?